I am not an obedient. I am not an articulate. I am not batified. I am not a Kwankwasian or anything like those. But I am a Nigerian. And today, I want us to talk about Peter Obi's New Year speech and all the hullabaloo that the speech has generated. All the hullabaloo that has followed since the day he gave that speech for the new year. I have a question. And the question is, what did the federal government of Nigeria, what did the APC government of President Bolahmedtinubu, what did that federal government expect from Peter Obi? Did they expect, or were they expecting Peter Obi to praise them? Was there anything that Peter Obi said that is more than stating the obvious? When you look at when PDP was in power during the regime of Jonathan and how the APC used to come all out to criticize the government of the day, the government of Jonathan at that time, is what Obi is saying, is it not the same thing Lai Mohammed used to say in the days of Jonathan? So, what is wrong with Obi saying it now? That wasn't wrong with APC and Lai Mohammed saying it then. And so, what is wrong if one of the two major opposition leaders in Nigeria choose to state the obvious? What's the big deal in a presidential candidate in the same election that brought this government to power? What's the big deal if he speaks to the issues in Nigeria? So, Peter Obi should not speak again, right? What he said is part of politics. Were they expecting Peter Obi to stay silent and be waiting for the next 3 years only to reappear for another shot at the presidency in the next election? What exactly was the expectation of this government? What are they thinking? What are they expecting? I don't know. Because all the backlash and the hullabaloo that followed, all the noise, is so unnecessary, is just unwarranted. You can't blame people across all ages in Nigeria who particularly, those of the younger generations, they follow Peter Obi for believing in a new Nigeria, and they are believing in him and relating with his political aspirations to become the president of that new Nigeria, because that is what he told them. I don't see any political, leader that won't tell you they believe in a new Nigeria, but he got the message right and it's resonated with the new generation. So what's the big deal? Why is it that the government is concerned now? Is it because Peter Obi is gaining political traction? What are they expecting? Peter Obi is speaking the language that people understand. A lot of the youths, they understand, at least on internet. I say on internet because the last election proved that Nigeria at this critical time of our history needs some kind of, reassurance, encouragement, and that's what Obi provides in the political space, and that's why it's moving forward. All the back and forth that Mocha, or what's the name of that APC guy, and all the party members that are joining on the train, making political capital of the situation, to me, it's very unexpected. This federal government of Tinubu's administration should take Obi's speech as a clarion call. Obi is a Nigerian. He's a political leader. He's a credible political leader that pulled his medal in the last election. What he's saying should be a clarion call and a reflection of the harsh realities that Nigerians are facing. And the government should just face that. Government should make corrections for the betterment of the people. They should know it and know peace, like the people will say these days. Before we get back to this episode, please just give me 30 seconds of your time. There are two things I want to say here. And the first thing is to say a big thank you for all of you for tuning in and watching our YouTube channel, because that means a whole lot to me. Please, I want to encourage you to continue enjoying what we do on this channel. Please join the 25% of those that watch this channel regularly and have been following us consistently. So please smash that subscribe button. I promise I'm going to do my best to make this channel as good as I can, both now and in the future. And we're going to deliver the topics and the guests that you want me to speak to, as we will be bringing people to our interview episodes, to which you can even suggest topics that you would love to hear as time goes on. So we are going to keep doing all of the things that you love about this particular channel. And again, let me say thank you. Now, back to what I was saying earlier. What did Peter Obi really say? Let's analyze it. He mentioned the things that are not hidden to Nigerians. There's nothing that Obi said in that speech that he invented. There is nothing new. There's nothing Obi said new that is so strange or being heard in Nigeria for the first time. What Peter Obi said is not different from what the people in the streets and the social media have been saying all this while. All Nigerians, both home and abroad, in the city, in the hinterlands, that's what everybody is saying. So, what they are saying is not different from what Peter Obi is saying. And even though people have been saying it, what has changed? Nothing has changed. Since people have been talking, even before this regime, things have been going from bad to worse. And as opposition, I think it is within Obi's right as an opposition leader, because that's what he is. His numbers were the third in the last election. That is, you cannot sweep that under the carpet. You can't discountenance that. You can't discount that. So I think it's within his right as an opposition leader to speak on these issues. And so what are the things he said? What are the highlights of this speech? He talked about hunger. Does anybody need to be told? I mean, is that strange for anybody in Nigeria to relate with when you look at the rate of hunger in Nigeria? He talked about power collapse. The power grid collapsed several times last year. Is that a lie? Is that not the truth? Is that not the reality of the situation? He talked about insecurity. He said the president should visit and encourage the troops. Is that a big deal? He said he should stay in those places, maybe Maiduguri, and sleep over there. He talked about poverty. Is that strange to anybody? He talked about unemployment. He talked about insecurity. What else did he talk about? He talked about bad roads. He talked about the healthcare system, that the president should stay in the country and be treated. He talked about the universities and how Shagari visited the university while he was an undergraduate. He talked about a lot of things that is just, he was just speaking to the issues. Is there anything strange about the things he was saying? Is there any lies, or are there any lies in what he was saying? Everything he said in that speech was just a reflection of the society. Is the government saying now that whether Peter Obi or any other Nigerian, they should not say what is happening? So we have even lost the freedom of speech to speak to the issues that are realities. Obi is a politician, and he cashed in on that. He did what he needed to do. He took political initiative that eventually is giving him political advantage, because definitely the speech will be politicized, and it's being politicized. And what is politics? That's part of politics. Action and reaction. But I have a concern. Why is he saying that he's afraid of his life? And why is saying that the APC guys are saying something different that is whipping up sentiments? So, we, the everyday Nigerians, we are spectators in this issue. Yep. Because you don't just want to get caught up in their situation, in all this back and forth. What I can just say here is that people should follow these developments and monitor the actions and inactions of the political players in this system very closely, including Atiku, Kwakwanso, and other ones, and closely open our eyes so that we won't get sucked in by their, what Nigerians, they call now gbasgbos. I am not an obedient. I am not an articulate. And I'm not batified. I'm not kwankwasia or anything like that. I didn't say I'm not obedient. I am not an obedient. I think Anne is an article there, because obedient is a dictionary word. Articulate is a dictionary word. So you can be obedient and articulate, but to be an obedient is the obedience in quotes of Nigeria now. I am a Nigerian. And we are living at a time where plain, sincere, and honest political conversations cannot be had in the public space without people doling out threats, abusing, mobbing. Is there something like mobbing? When they mob someone, is there something like mobbing? Anyway, English is not my first language. They mob the speaker. Obi has spoken. A word is enough for the federal government. Obi's word, a word is enough for the wise, but Obi's word is enough for the federal government. Tell me, what is in Obi's recommendation that anyone else would not have said if they are in opposition? People just want to, play politics with everything. Yes, he said Tinubu should spend the 72 days to visit each state in Nigeria for 2 days each. That's 36 days. That's it. 36 states times 2 days, and see what's going on in those states and speak to them. He said he should visit our national hospitals. People have been saying that on the street, that Nigerian, leaders or government officials should get treated in Nigeria for their healthcare needs, that nobody should travel abroad. But there's no political leader that has had the courage to do that, because they know the state of our hospitals. I know they are not even going to general hospitals, but at least they are private hospitals in Nigeria, but they won't even go there. He recommended that Tinubu should travel on our highways from Benin to Delta. And maybe, no. He mentioned something like, maybe he traveled from Benin to Delta, or he should travel from Benin to Delta or Aban. I was driving on, I was listening to that speech, so I might have missed out some details. He said he should visit the tertiary institutions so that he can see the infrastructures and the facilities in the institutions. And at least, as he should visit military installations to talk to the soldiers, encourage them, and assure them of their welfare, that they will be taken care of. I remember he also says something. He said something about the IDPs, that the president should visit the IDPs. Is that too much of a request? And the fact that Obi is asking this, it can even be a rhetorical thing for the mileage that it will gain in the press, because definitely he knows the president is not going to follow all his recommendations. He said in the speech that, Mr. Governor, you are not the governor of Lagos State. He said during festive season, he should go and spend his holidays in other parts of the country. So what are people quarreling about now? APC to Labour to BDN to Batified and all of those. Everybody in Nigeria has freedom of speech, and Obi is not different. I keep saying that he's not only a politician. Don't forget, I'm not a Peter Obi person. I have very strong reservations about when people deify and whitewash and the messianic disposition of people as if it's just a one touch to Nigerian problems. Peter Obi is not only a politician, he was a presidential candidate in the last election, and is first and foremost a Nigerian. And that's why I'm talking like this. Not that I'm a Peter Obi fan. I'm not a fan of any of the political leaders in our political space as it is now. I wouldn't expect Obi to act differently. So whatever is being, accused of saying or not saying or whatever, there's a regular word. They say heat up the polity. This heating up the polity. I don't get it. So what do they expect him to do? To keep quiet? Whether APC likes it or not, or the government, Peter Obi has the right to comment on the state of the nation. Again, I'm not a fan of Obi or Tinubu or Atiku. You see, people talk about Peter Obi being young, a presidential candidate. Do people really know Peter Obi's age? If I get it correctly, Obi is in his 60s. Okay? I'm not a fan of any of this crop of leaders that are coming forward for election at this time in our nation's history at all. But you see, during that last election, people had to make a choice, and it looked like the best choice of those three, especially to the younger ones. I personally don't see our best 11 among this set of people. And again, I say the messianic view of Obi as if he will be how will I put it now? A touch and go president to Nigerian problems. It amuses me. I've been around for so long. I've been around for more than 5 decades. I was an executive of the student union in one of the tertiary institutions. I attended 2 tertiary institutions in Nigeria as a young person. I've been around for a while, and I studied not all this kind of unionism that are being done right now. I was a delegate to the national to the NANS conference for some time, and you will see Nigerian student leaders, intellectuals at that time. It will take a lot to fix Nigeria, and it will take not just serious and purposeful leaders to do that, even serious and discerning followers. I know what the political space is and what the political game is like. Like I keep saying, Peter Obi is not saying anything strange. He's not saying anything different than the words on the street. He's just echoing the voice of the hungry, the people who are facing hardship and insecurity in the country. And the federal government should rise up and do something to ameliorate the plight of Nigerians. I was a student union leader during Babangida's regime, and I know what we suffered in the hands of the government. I'm talking of the days of Comrade Arugundade, Comrade Shueton, Comrade Bashar, Comrade Revo, Comrade Ojomo, Comrade Bamidele Aturu, Comrade Odion, Akaine. I can't pronounce his name very well. I think he's a professor in Uniben now. If the federal government is not comfortable with what Obi is saying, they should do something about it. That's what the people are saying on the street. I am saying this, looks like I'm in favor of Obi. Well, if that's people's choice. People choose Tinubu last year. If they choose Obi for the next president, all well and good. What we see is what we get. Because if this is what our system is still throwing up, I'm not denigrating or castigating Obi here. I keep saying, among the candidates that were presented at that time, it looks to the particular generation or a set of people that it seems to be the best candidate. If you ask me, if you listen to people in this country, I don't know why people are not gravitating towards, the people like Sowore, for example. Maybe they don't like his style. They want Sowore to come on the street to fight for them. But this is a guy that has ideas. I'm not in Nigeria. I didn't vote in the last election. When you look at the speeches, the campaign, and the body language of these politicians, I do not know how people are not reading behind the lines. If people threw the kind of weight they threw behind, Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, if they threw it behind serious people like Sowore, they think Sowore should just come and be an activist and keep fighting while they give their votes to other people. It's very unfortunate that political followers, they can't discern how politics really works. All the leading political leaders, they are establishment people. They have been in government at one time or another. And if you really even know the story behind the story, but that's not the issue for today, because I was just, I didn't want to do this topic because I wasn't ready for the politics of peace. I really wanted to do something different, but the way it's going, it looks like we have to add our voice to what's in this system. Obi is still authentic today and de facto, rallying point for a set of people with a particular mindset in this country, and they happen to be, in the majority among the youth of this country. And that is what it is. It is what it is, like the Americans will say, it is what it is. So today, Obi is representing a very strong bloc in this country, and nobody can discountenance his voice. Nobody. What's in a speech? Is he the only one giving speeches? Is he the only one talking? Go on the internet, just click Nigeria. You will see how people are bashing the government left, right, and center. Why is it that when Obi says it, is it because he gave it as a speech or it was televised? What about people that sit before the camera, YouTubers, TikTokers, Facebook, and they keep bashing the government every day? They even say worse things than what Obi said. Go and look at that language very well. He said, I don't want to quote him because I said I was driving when I was listening to it. He was not. He didn't say I was attacking the federal government. Maybe he said I appeal to, I urge the federal government, which is modest enough. Well, you were around when Lai Mohammed was doing his thing. Now he will take a PDP to the cleaners. If there was one of the things that gave APC some leverage in the 2015, was it 2015 now Buhari came in, that election, you will trace some of that to the efforts of Lai Mohammed as the spokesman for APC at that time. And so Peter Obi should sit down and stay silent and be waiting for the next 3 years only to reappear and say he wants to contest for president, is still politically relevant. If people like Atiku are still saying they want to contest in this country, Obi has every right to contest. And I know there will be some alignment and realignment. You see, we know today, nobody knows tomorrow. And I hope maybe it's just that the way the Nigerian political leadership recruitment system is set, some things are almost cast, they are almost set. We are kind of set in our ways. This system has a way of throwing up funny characters. Because the campaign has even started already, whether you know it or not. It's not until you see those banners. This is a strategy. Can you see the traction that this is gaining? To the extent that this APC man came out yesterday, he said they're getting death threats. He said over 200 or so death threats. And Obi is saying that he himself, he doesn't feel safe. Who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Obi is so big in the Nigerian space that there are people that can take the bullet for him without his bodyguards. People love him passionately. There's a cult followership for Obi. There's what kind of anointing that guy carries. But when you really examine these people, when you break it down to the roots, go and look at what they are saying, go and look at their agenda and break it down. It's just that this space, I don't know. Oh my gosh, Nigerians. All right, that's my point on this. I feel Obi is in order. Something came to my mind when I was preparing for this particular video. When I was, just rolling things over in my mind. When Buhari came in 2015, people started talking about body language of Buhari. And, they just felt, okay, people have this impression, the carryover impression of 1983, 84. I was around then. I was already in high school when all of those happened. So I know what happened at that time. I knew where I was when Abacha made the announcement. Yeah, when the government took over from civilians then, I was one of those students that did up Nigeria, the days of UNPP, is it UNPP? GMPP, UPN, MPN, PRP, NPP, and PAP, Baba Braithwaite. That one came later. The day of Shagari, the day of Bakinzuwo, the days of, what's the name, Aminu Kano. The days of Obafemi Awolowo. I have seen politics evolve in this country. And Nigerians are having a hope of a better tomorrow. It's very interesting. We'll get there and God will help us and save us from these leaders, and we need to save ourselves. Back to what I was saying, Buhari, people were talking about his body language. And within 6 months, people started talking about body odor. They started talking about body odor because they felt that, a lot of stuff. A new sheriff is in town. That sheriff something. In America here, when we talk about sheriff, it's just like the DPO. Like the county sheriff is just like the local police superintendent, But when I was small, when they say sheriff, I thought it is sheriffy. There's the name sheriff in the Islam, Abdul Sharif or something like that. So they said there's a new sheriff in town. Where's the sheriff now? Later, that sheriff became deaf and dumb. They said the guy has Owelepo. He has, he has a plug in his ear. He doesn't hear. And that man wasn't even listening. The same man came and told everybody. He said, I belong to everybody. I belong to nobody. And at the end of the day, he didn't belong to anybody. He just messed us up. He messed everything up. I don't see why our people cannot read behind the lines and see how Tinubu came. People said the last election was rigged. Well, some things are subject to verification. You know that everybody rigged in their areas of strength. You understand that? At least the election in some other parts of the country where APC didn't have the majority also showed it. That they didn't even get some votes, and some of those states are, people need to read behind the lines. Yes, election was rigged. Election is being rigged. Both states, both federal, but all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Tinubu was a master of the game. Unfortunately, we didn't need to inherit all the complexities of maybe old age and some, I don't know whether, I wouldn't call it incompetence, but I heard him talking about teamship, and you think probably he has a winning team. And if all the winning team can deliver is what we are seeing, I'm not sure that they are getting it right. Of course, they say some things will take shape later. Of course, I know that definitely, you know, you cannot make an omelette without breaking an egg. Breaking, is it the egg or an egg? Or, but the truth is that when people believe in political leaders, America is waiting now. Today is 8th. We're going to swear in our new president on the 20th. It's going to be sworn in on the 20th. He was there before. Go and look at the track records. You wonder how people gave, you know, how they voted him out and voted another party in. And now how they gave him their mandate again. Politics is politics. He understood the system. He knew what the people want to hear. And he was saying it. And it resonated with them. He's back. He's going to be our president for the next 4 years now. And he will make, we hope he will keep to his words. So guys, I'll end this video here. When political leaders are talking, read behind the lines. But for this one, that Obi said, Obi is on his right to speak to the issues in Nigeria, and nobody can contravene that. That's my take on this issue. I hope the federal government just not continue to just make this a kind of messy issue, and go look into what Obi, all the areas he touched on: education, he touched on healthcare, he touched on the military, he touched on the roads, he touched on power, he touched on everything that makes for the everyday living of everyday people in a nation. Thanks for watching, and please, once again, click the subscribe button, smash that subscribe button. Just do that for me, okay? And like the video and share it. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, and see you on the next one. Bye.